Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. This is a follow-up lesson on trig equations. If you're following through in the textbook, it's chapter 5, example 19. Okay, this time our equation is solve sine 3 theta is equal to root 3 over 2. So let's just write that out in a slightly clearer way. Notice the range is in radians, so let's read that to you. So the range we want to solve for the angle theta has to be between 0 and 2 pi. Remember 2 pi means 360 degrees, but it's in radians, so it's called 2 pi. Okay, here we don't have to do much really because there's no rearranging to do. We've just got an answer on the right hand side and we've got the sign on the left. So first thing to do is to inverse sine root 3 over 2. You can do that on your calculator. Make sure you've got radians as your radian mode. So this calculator is not the most sophisticated, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to do square root, which is over here. So the square root of 3, I divide that by 2, and I want to inverse sine that. And I should get 1.04719. Okay, another way of writing that is pi over 3. So this is one of the ones you're supposed to memorize. So this time we're going to keep it in the exact form. So now we can say 3 theta is equal to pi over 3. Remember, pi is 180 degrees, so pi over 3 would be 60 degrees. So now that's the first angle, but you can't just stop there on a trig equation. Trig equations have multiple solutions. On a sine graph, how does it work? So if you just imagine a quick sine graph, then what you notice is that the graph goes up and then back down. The graph repeats every 360 degrees or every 2 pi. So once you get your first pair of answers, it's quite easy from then on. You just add on 360 degrees to each one. But to get the first one is quite easy because you just inverse sine it on your calculator. That's pi over 3. To get the second one, you have to think. As long as it's a sine graph you're working with, then it's simply 180 degrees. Take away your first answer. I'll just call that x. So if that's x. If you do that, then that will give you your second answer, which is here. So let's do that. 180 degrees with radians would just be pi. So I'm going to do just pi. And then take away my first answer, which was pi over 3. As a decimal, it becomes 2.094. As a fraction, pi take away, what I'm doing is starting with pi, and then taking away my first answer, which is pi over 3. And since pi over 3 is just 1/3 of pi, then I must be left with 2/3. So my second answer would be 2/3 pi. Okay, then I have to keep going to 2 pi, but 2 pi is for theta. Because I'm working with 3 theta at the moment, I'm going to have to multiply that by 3, so I have to go all the way up to 6 pi. So I've still got quite a long way to go, but remember, the graph is now going to repeat every 360 degrees. So all I'm doing is adding 2 pi now each time. So you take your first answer of pi over 3 and then add 2 pi to that. So it's pi over 3 add 2 pi. That works out to be 7 pi over 3. 2 pi would be 6 pi over 3 plus another pi over 3, which would be 7 pi over 3. Do the same with the second angle, add on another 2 pi. So that would be 8 pi over 3. And by this time, you can spot a pattern. So it goes pi over 3, 2 pi over 3. Then 7 pi over 3, 8 pi over 3. So we're kind of adding 6 pi at the top each time. So then that would be, the next one would become 13 pi over 3. And each pair is just 1 pi different, 1 pi over 3 difference. And then the next one would be 14 pi over 3. If you're more comfortable doing it on a calculator, just do it on your calculator. Take each one in turn, the first one and add 2 pi, then the second one and add 2 pi. That'll give you two new answers here and here. And then just take your next answer and add 2 pi, which will give you this answer. Add 2 pi to the next answer. So you just have to keep adding 2 pi, but you just have to appreciate that it's always going to give you the one after the next answer. So adding 2 pi, add 2 pi gets you the next answer. Then you add 2 pi to this one, gives you this one. Add 2 pi to this one, gives you this one. So that's what you have to keep doing. As long as you've got your first two, then the rest should be quite easy. And then I'll just finish it off with 20 pi over 3 and 21 pi over 3. I've probably gone too much, but it's better to go too much than too little. So now we understand, we look back and we think, all these answers are for 3 theta, but I just want the answer for theta. So I'm going to divide everything by 3 to get it down to theta. So each answer gets divided by 3. So you'll have pi over 9, 2 pi over 9. You can probably figure out the rest yourself now. The next one will be 7 pi over 9. And remember, when we reach 2 pi, that's when we want to stop. The next one would be 8 pi over 9. And 13 pi over 9. Finally, 14 pi over 9. And we don't want to go anymore because 20 pi over 9 would be bigger than 2 pi. Okay, join me for more on radians and angles and thetas. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Peace be with you and the blessing of God.